Well, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. Barely afternoon on Saturday. And I found myself a little bit of spare time, so I've been riding the Virago around. It's nice, very hot out, but the weather's actually very nice. Maybe you can take a look. The sky is very blue. Yeah, it's very nice. And anyway, sorry. The reason I'm making this video is I'd like to dispel a few myths about Shenzhen. Now, Shenzhen has a very bad reputation in Hong Kong. I mean, I was quite surprised to find out, but for instance, you know, the beer girl, when she first came here, or she first wanted to come here, majority of her friends and family, so on, were telling her, don't come here, it's so dangerous, you're going to get kidnapped, you're going to get sold off, you know, human trafficking, blah, 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 a lot of rubbish. But that wasn't the first time I'd heard that. And if you go to Hong Kong, occasionally you'll see in the newspaper something about a Hong Kong citizen getting kidnapped and held for ransom here in Shenzhen, etc. So Shenzhen has a very bad reputation for being this very dangerous place in Hong Kong. But it's not true. And I'm going to explain to you why it's not true. First, let me give you a little bit of a history behind Shenzhen. And probably the reason why it is such a big, successful, modern city. Well, actually, the reason is because it was opened right next to Hong Kong. Okay, and that meant the money could come in from Hong Kong, be it through trade or just people coming over here to shop and spend money. And something that started happening decades ago was, I'd say, the lower class Hong Kong people. You know, people who've got very basic jobs, maybe a bus driver or a security guard or somebody who just makes a very small amount of money in Hong Kong. Well, that small amount of money in Hong Kong used to be, and still is, a lot of money here on the mainland. So what they used to do is they used to come over on the weekends, these low class sort of bottom of the wage ladder people, and they used to mess around here, basically prostitution, drugs, you know, that kind of thing. But mainly prostitution, and this big thing that has developed here, it's called RNI, means second wife. So what they'll do is they'll have their family in Hong Kong, but then they come here on the weekend and they have rented a cheap apartment for a girl that they've probably met in a brothel or whatever the case, and they pay her almost like a salary every month to be their second wife. So they just come visit them on the weekend and enjoy themselves and mess about. And this is still going on very much so today, and that's why you've seen in some of my other videos, but I've been through a lot of these small villages which people call Aranaitsun, means second wife villages, and inside of them you will find lots of very pretty girls wearing makeup and dolled up. These are the ones that usually are the second wives of a rich Hong Kong guy, or perceived to be rich, because actually most of the Hong Kong people you find here on the weekends are, well, to be nice, I'll just say scumbags. Okay, so now basically my question to you is this: if your sole and only reason to come to Shenzhen is to be involved in prostitution, gambling, and drugs, etc., you think you're going to stay clear of trouble? Well, of course not. I mean, it's those kind of rackets, those dodgy activities are always surrounded with dodgy things like kidnapping, extortion. I mean, think about it. If you're this Hong Kong guy who just comes here to screw around and you're paying some dodgy girl that you met in a brothel or massage house to be your second wife, what's stopping her from saying, you know, this guy's an ass, let me just call my friends around, tell them where he's going to be, when he's going to be there, let's kidnap him and ransom him off. I'm just saying, I mean, if you're going to lie with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. And so my personal experience, having come from Johannesburg, which is probably the most dangerous city in the world, you know, other than war-torn states, coming here was a breath of fresh air. This is the safest city I've ever lived in my life, and it is safe, very safe. Even if you go walking around in dodgy areas, a lot of people say, yes, that's because you're a foreigner, perhaps so, but either way, if you're just street smart, that little bit street smart, you can avoid trouble here. But if you want to delve in prostitution, drugs, gambling, and various other illegal activities, of course you're going to end up on the wrong side of some bad situation. So basically, that's all I have to say. Shenzhen is a great place. Hey, bud. Cheers. Back at the beef village, having a beer with Beer Girl.
I like it very much. But yeah,
It's good.